Hello everyone, my name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are your Bourbon Journey.
Welcome to episode 15 of Bourbon Trail Tales and Tastes. Today we're taking you to Louisville, Kentucky and Rabbit Hole Distillery. Think back to October 29th of 2022, just before Halloween. And it wasn't too bad of weather for us that day. It was really quite nice. This was our 20th distillery to visit and our 16th stamp on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. So that's pretty exciting. We have been back to Rabbit Hole several times, but this time we did a full tour of the distillery. What do you recall about that distillery tour, Wayne?
The thing I recall the most was it was the first time on any of the tours we had been that we saw the column still working. When they took us into the room where the column still was, it was going full throttle. And I remember making that comment. I was enthralled watching it, just seeing it bubble up and go over each glass level as it went up the column.
Through all the plates and everything.
Yeah, and I was really enthralled. I thut it was cool.
Well, I found it to be probably our most modern facility that we had visited to that point.
Yes.
It probably still is one of the most modern, but everything was just so brand new and shiny, and they're very innovative at Rabbit Hole and really building for the future. So everything, they had these labs that you could watch people doing. I mean, I know that everyone has labs, but these were made, you could tell the tour was designed so people could see them working in the lab, right? Really measuring things, figuring out what's in there. We were able to, in the rooms we didn't go in, we were able to look through these windows and see things that were happening. We did get to go and see the actual production, which is always one of our favorite things, where they were putting into fermenting tanks and you can smell that mash cooking. I mean, that's always a great day when you're smelling mash cooking, just saying.
It is.
So that was pretty fun too. What else do you remember?
Well, like I said, I remember going up to I think it was a top floor, and that's where we did the tasting.
Yeah, the tasting, I don't think they do that upstairs anymore. I think that's now a special event space, but I'm not positive about that. But we actually had 5 tastes. They had a really nice mat laid out for us that described their 4 core products, which we're going to have 2 of their variations on that today, but their 4 core products as well as their gin. We're still not really into gin, but I understand them wanting us to taste that and figure that out as well. But what I found fascinating about the tasting, besides the spirits itself, was the stories about the names. And I feel bad that I didn't go look up the stories about each one of the names, but they have to do with something very specifically related to Louisville, Kentucky, such as it might have something to do with someone who was a famous leader in the area, or there's a graveyard nearby that one of them is named after that. So it was very fascinating how they were very purposeful and intentional in their naming of their core products, and it was pretty fun. I liked it.
Had a good time.
And they have a great view up the top too. They have a great view of Louisville. They're in the Nulu area of Louisville. They're right over there near where Copper and Kings is. Not too far from Angel's Envy as well. But it's got a great view from upstairs there for sure. But I enjoyed the tour.
I liked it as well.
So let's get into our taste, because we have 2. So I'm a little embarrassed because I discovered as we were getting ready to do this that we have never opened these bottles until today. And I just can't believe it, because typically we would come back from a trip and we would, over the next month, we would taste what we purchased. And I don't know if it's because they're such gorgeous bottles. These are their single barrel bottles. Obviously they look a little different than their really tall, typical brand bottles, and I was enamored. I'm going to be honest. I bought the single barrels because I fell in love with the artwork. A local artist does their single barrel illustrations. And I don't know if I just couldn't open the bottle because they were so pretty. I'm just being really transparent here. But today we opened them, for heaven's sake, because we're going to drink these things today, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, here we go. So what are some of the specifics of bottle number 1 that we are about ready to taste?
So bottle number 1, let's chat about that a bit. This is the Cavehill single barrel cask strength. And it is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. The company, of course, is Rabbit Hole Distillery. its mash bill, listen up, this is a 4-grain. It is 70% corn, 10% malted wheat, 10% malted barley, and 10% honey malted barley. It is aged 4 years and 2 months. It was released in 2022, the year we were there, and its proof is 105.8. The illustration on this bottle is called Romeo and Juliet. It was bottle number 79 out of 198, and we did purchase this on 10/29/22 for $149.99. Oh, let's see how it looks, how Cavehill looks. It's a 4-grain, and thinking back, we were chatting about this when we were getting ready to do this video, and today we love 4-grains. I'm not sure we were the 4-grain lovers back then. We still have a favorite 4-grain, Neely's, just saying.
Well, Neely's was the one that really kind of kicked me off in the bourbon journey, because their 4-grain was actually the first thing I really liked a lot.
Yeah, and their 4-grain's really different because they use oats.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, not to digress onto that, but I'm curious to see what we think of this 4-grain today. It is very light in color, almost honey-like.
A lot of good legs.
Some really nice legs forming for sure. Looks beautiful. Let's take a gander at the nose.
A lot going there.
Oh yeah, there's a lot happening.
There's vanilla, there's caramel.
Some really nice, almost, and I might be influenced by the fact there's some honey wheat or honey barley or whatever it was, but I'm getting a little honey note here. I mean, the smell is reminding me a little bit of a wheated bourbon, and it does have wheat, obviously.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Well, that's not far off. It's very light and inviting. And again, the legs are great. Ready to have a taste?
Yes.
The Cavehill.
Cavehill.
Single barrel, cask strength. Woo! That's pretty tasty.
This drinks like an older bourbon.
It does.
This drinks. The first thing I get is barrel.
And it's only 4 years old.
Yes, that's really frightening. I get barrel right in the front, and I've been, kind of funny to say this in this way, I've been on a barrel run with things. I don't know why I've been picking that up, but I have. But I was not expecting it in 4 years. A 4-year.
Well, the grain is really speaking to me. I mean, I can tell there's a lot of grain action happening here. The sweetness of the corn is coming through, and that nutty, it's kind of a nuttiness from the wheat for me. Sometimes the wheat goes more pastry, sometimes it goes bread-like. Today, this one is going a little nutty for me, and I'm enjoying that nuttiness quite a bit.
Almost the peanuts. There's cinnamon.
It is almost like very honey-like tasting.
I mean, it's honeysuckle.
Yeah, it's very honey on the palate for me, and that's probably coming from the wheat grain. I think this is great. It's 105.8 proof. I think it's drinking probably right about in there.
I would agree.
Yeah, it tastes between 105, 110. It's not off-putting in any way. It's not something, if you're not a cask drinker, you would still enjoy this, I do believe, because it's just really well balanced.
Well, the thing that strikes me the most is, if I was guessing the age on this, I probably would be going 8 to 10.
Yeah, it's amazingly mature for a 4-year, 2-month-old.
I'm just wondering what the owner did to the barrel. I wonder what type of conversation he had with it.
I don't know. God, that's pretty funny.
He is.
What do you think about the finish? I mean, it's got a pretty lingering finish.
Finish is definitely very light cinnamon. And it keeps going, and it stays cinnamon. What's funny is, as much as I've gotten the barrel in the front, I'm not getting it in the back.
Well, that's not, I was going to say I am, and I didn't get it on the palate, but yeah, it's okay. We're different, right? We're totally different. I did not get it on the palate like you did. I was so focused on the honey on the palate, but I am getting some barrel notes, almost like a very light pipe tobacco kind of a barrel note, because it's kind of floral, and I'm getting a little bit of white pepper, and the sweetness though is still staying, but it's more, almost like honey roasted peanuts on the sweetness, because it's still got that nuttiness going on, but it's got a hint of honey. So I'm liking it a lot. And I'm just going to say right now, we haven't tried the other one, but if we had been opening these, we may not be able to share these today because we may have had them gone. So there's a reason for everything. So,
There's a time for everything and everything in its time.
should we check out the other one, what it's all about?
Sure. We should cleanse our palate for sure.
So our second one is the Derringer single barrel cask strength. It is also a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. However, it's been finished in PX sherry casks. Its mash bill is 68% corn, 18% wheat, and 14% malted barley. So it is definitely a wheater. It has no age statement, but it has to be at least 4 years old. It was also released in 2022. Its proof is 114.8, so it's got 9 points higher than the other one. The illustration on here is called the caterpillar, and the bottle number is 197 out of 270. Again, bought it on October 29th of 2022 for $194.99 at Rabbit Hole. So it was a little bit more expensive, probably because the PX sherry cask finish. We were noting when we poured this that, oh my goodness, it is so dark. I mean, you can tell on the bottles that this one looks a little lighter than this one, but it is massively darker. It may be one of the darkest things we've had this year.
Yes, we were having a discussion when pouring that. It's definitely one of the more darker ones we've had in recent memory. We'd probably have to start pulling out the Russell's 15 and a couple other older ones, I think, to try to compare it in darkness.
Yeah, and we did not too long ago. It's only been a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, that we pulled out and tasted for the first time the Founders version of this, which definitely had some age on it. So that's going to be a curious comparison for me to see how this stands up to the Founders, and because it was also a Derringer. So let's check out. We've already talked about the color being like, it's really a dark mahogany. It's almost brown, very dark mahogany. And I'm not at this point in time getting the legs, but I see it clinging on the glass. So it just tells me this is a very viscous bourbon that is going to take a bit to form the legs because they're probably very heavy.
Mine's beginning to develop legs.
Yeah, and it's just going to keep going on there. So let's go ahead and check out the nose while that's happening. I do get the sherry right away. And the PX is the Pedro Jimenez sherry cask.
Not related to Pedro Bourbon.
It smells really
sherry.
Yummy. It smells so good.
The sherry to me is dominant.
I would call this a luscious nose. I mean, it's just so inviting.
It's sherry forward.
Yeah, and there's some additional sweet notes like brown sugar perhaps, but the sherry is just making me.
Oh, you're better than I am, because I feel like singing the old Steve Perry song, "Oh Sherry."
Yeah, the legs are getting really hefty and they're really starting to form now. It's gorgeous. They're lining up on my glass.
I'm just going to stick with sherry on the nose and see what happens here.
Well, let's go ahead and taste it to the Derringer cask strength.
Derringer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my goodness. If you don't like sherry, you probably wouldn't like this, but it is more bourbon on the palate than it is sherry. The bourbon definitely takes a front seat. And look at these legs. Oh my goodness. Look at those legs.
Molasses.
Yes.
I'm getting molasses in this, and that's got to be the reaction with the sherry.
Perhaps, or it's just we don't know what the age is on this, and they didn't share that. But
I mean,
oh my
molasses
gosh.
I normally do not get, and I know a lot of people get it in bourbon. This is the first time in quite a while that I've picked up molasses.
I often pick it up in the rum finishes, but not typically in a normal bourbon. But this does definitely, I agree with you. It has some molasses notes on it, and it's got some darker notes. I'm trying to figure out what the baking spice is.
I'm getting a citrus.
I'm getting
lemon
clove. That's funny because I got lemon zest on the first one.
And I didn't. our suggestion.
But this one, I'm getting like clove notes. It's those very dark notes that you get. It's like almost like clove and nutmeg together. Not really cinnamon. I'm not getting that cinnamon vibe on this. But it definitely, oh my goodness, it's got those great sweet notes. It's got layers going on. So I feel like it keeps evolving each sip I take. I'm enjoying this a lot. And again, like I said on the other bottle, if we had opened this, 2.5 years ago, I'm not sure the bottle would be here now. It's really good.
I'm getting a little bit of barrel finally. Kind of midway for me. Now the sherry is there.
Yeah, it's bringing these really lovely sweet notes. A light hint of like a dark grape.
I'm cleansing my palate because I want to almost start again with this.
The finish is very long and lingering too, and warm. And this one has more like leather notes on the finish. It just feels, everything's just wrapped up in a big leather bag. It's just like, oh, we're gonna just wrap our arms around you and keep you all nice.
Well, you're gonna think I'm silly. The molasses for me, it's almost like root beer. There's this.
So like sarsaparilla or something.
Yeah.
Huh?
There's it's subtle. I mean, if you try to pick this up and drink it, you might not find it. But I mean, I tend to be a root beer drinker. I do like this stuff, and there's a little bit of it. But it is molasses, but there's a tiny bit of that sarsaparilla. This is very, very tasty. It's not a daily drinker though.
Oh no, 'cause it is. It has got a big punch to it. Like, I don't mean that in a hot way. I would not guess this at the almost 115 proof. It feels more like in the 110 range because it's just luscious and it doesn't hit you in the mouth or in the finish really hard. It's because it's got all these other flavors going on, so it just calms and again, this whole like leather thing happening in the finish. And it's got the sweet notes there as well.
It's very rich.
Yeah.
If I were to say.
That's a really good term.
Very rich. There are certain meals that you really love, but you can't eat a lot and you couldn't eat every day. This is something that I would save when I have a serious bourbon drinker come to our house. And I would pour it, because they would really appreciate it. It is a share with friends that love bourbon bottle.
Yeah, because it's got so many layers of complexity, and it's just luscious is the word that keeps coming to mind. Luscious and complex. Those are probably the two words I would associate with this particular pour. I'm loving this. I am so glad that we're doing this Bourbon Trail Tales and Tastes, so that we actually forced ourselves to open these bottles, because now I want to drink them.
Well, with having discussed the price of the bottles, you said this one was $199.
$194.
$194. Okay. This one is
like a $150.
$150. Okay. Would you buy either one again?
Well, actually, I have. I've already bought a second one of this. I mean, it's a more recent one. When we were in there not too long ago, I bought another one. As a matter of fact, hang on, can I reach it? I bought one in 2023. Another one, another Derringer, and I just love this one. This one's called the Tempest, and it's 113.2 proof. It's from 2023. Isn't that? So yes, I already decided to buy another bottle before I tasted it.
Don't even remember.
Imagine.
There you go.
Imagine that.
There you go.
I mean, I am a big fan of Derringer. That's but I was very impressed with the Cavehill today. And it's going to make me maybe want to try the Cavehill again. And we recently did, when we did the Founders, we also did one of their distillery series pieces. And their distillery series things that you can only get there are really good. Highly recommend you try them when you're there. And now I'm kind of leaning toward liking this Cavehill too, the 4-grain. I think it's a pretty good 4-grain. But we do seem to like wheaters, and especially when you get some of this higher proof, when it's a wheater, it doesn't bang you so much, right? It's not like killing you with, heat. I like it. What about you? Would you get it again?
I'm happy with one bottle of that. I don't think it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you have a second bottle of this. We probably now have enough for the rest of our lives.
Well, for a while.
With it. We have a couple things behind us to drink, but once again, I think this is a special one. It probably would depend on what type of an event or how many or people if we had coming over to visit that we'd be pouring for.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if I had to pick one of the two, I'd pick the Derringer.
I would pick the Derringer too.
I
mean, Derringer from day one has been my favorite pour of theirs. Even if it's their standard offering of Derringer, their core line, I love the Derringer the best. And I love the Founders version of Derringer, and I love this single barrel too. So apparently, I love their PX sherry finish.
You obviously do, and I think it's a cool place if you get an opportunity to go there.
And they have the best gift shop in the world. I didn't even mention that. They have the coolest gift shop items in there, and it's not normal. I mean, I don't know how to express it, but it's very gitchy. But Nulu's kind of gitchy, right? And they have they have your shirts and your this and your that, but they have some really great books. I'm obsessed a little. We're going to start someday doing some book reviews, but they have some great books. And there's one that I've looked at a couple of times, and I've almost purchased it. And recently, our friend Michael Veach and his fiancee Rosemary went there for an event,
Mm-hmm.
and they were given these books, and he did a review, and I'm like, okay, now I have to have it. It's based on what vintage album would you listen to while drinking this particular thing, right? And it sounds like it's so up our alley because we love music and we love bourbon. So I think next time I go there, I'm going to have to pick up one of those books. Thank you, Michael, for making me want that. Just saying.
And thank you, Michael, for reminding us that you get it for free. It's good to be Mike. No, seriously, you've earned that, because you give them publicity by writing about it.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, I haven't seen anybody else write about that dinner, write about the experience, and you do it in such a way that is concise, and you don't need a PhD to be able to read it. You do a great job.
Yeah.
And it does look like a great book. We're probably going to have to pick it up.
I have to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to.
But they really have a great gift shop. I mean, you just kind of, it's not huge, but you walk around and there's something, every time I look somewhere, it's interesting. It's something that I don't see in every gift shop. We've seen bigger gift shops, but they make sure that for their space that they stock it in a very interesting and kind of gitchy manner.
I want to find out what bourbon goes with the AC/DC song, "For Those About to Rock, We Salute You." That's what I'd like to find out.
Yeah.
And The Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix.
There you go.
So we will wrap.
Yeah.
We hope you've enjoyed this. We hope the videos that we do on this series really encourage you to go out and check these places out, because you can go to a liquor store, and that's fine. If you're in an area where you can't get to one of these places, I get it. But we hope with what we do, we motivate people that can, or if they're in the area, to go ahead and go there and experience it and meet the people, I should say, that are there, that work there, who bring about the bourbon that is in our glass today and in the glasses that you have at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes it extra special.
Absolutely.
It's made me certainly appreciate bourbon more.
Yeah, even before you really loved bourbon, you loved the experiences.
I did. I'll lift the Derringer. It's a one shot. Cheers to Rabbit Hole. You guys do a great job. If you like what we do, please hit the subscribe button, and remember to always drink responsibly. Cheers and have a great day.
Cheers.